Aloha, this is Tara. Welcome. Aloha, this is Tara. Welcome to Live Yoga Channel. And I'm here. It's Tuesday. Welcome to the Trust Your Gut Club, where we can meet and talk all things digestive wellness. Felt important today, especially at the beginning of the year, after there's been lots of celebrations, holiday fun, and now folks are eager to jump into their New Year's resolutions, their health habits, and it's a good time to reconsider our routines and our habits so that we can feel really good. So today I want to talk about gut health as it relates to mental health. And I'd love it if there were some participation, or as you join in, perhaps share, and I can keep it private, but I'd love a dialogue so that we could talk about how what's going on in here impacts how we think, feel, and see the world. This is really important. And a girlfriend of mine and I have been talking about how to come off of sugar and the addictions to sugar. And then I'm also supportive in a fasting group where lots of folks are extending their fasting windows. And I also have clients, and we work on different adjustments to navigate and create routines and lifestyles for their best health. However, there's lots of what happens. Say that, I hear people say, oh, it feels uncontrollable. I can't keep myself from eating, or I'm just so down on myself. And so there's sensations, thought patterns of feeling out of control, also of depression and addiction. So how does stagnant energy in our guts impact our brain health and how we see the world? So if you're just joining on or you're coming on, please write a question, share with me your thoughts. I'm happy to discuss gut health as it relates to mental health and how we perceive the world. So it's a sensitive subject in that it's unique. What we eat and how we feel is unique to each of us. Some of us don't seem to have issues with sugars and sweets, whereas other of us can feel out of control with just a little bit of sweetness. And this could even be from natural sweetness like honey and fruit and such. So being honest with ourselves and, seeing, there's lots of folks that can, practice moderation, and that works really well. And then there's others that say, I have one bite of chocolate and then it ends up being the whole candy bar type of thing. So, understanding where we are and then acknowledging what works best for our consumption patterns and then how that impacts how we feel. So I'd love to know, have any of you tried eliminating in an elimination protocol? Somebody could also call it a diet. You can try a diet and take out the bad foods and keep in the good foods, right? And so that in itself, people go on Weight Watchers, or they go on their beginning of the year diet and exercise routine, and they start feeling better, right? And because the movement, the exercise, it's moving the fluids, it's moving the lymphatic system, it's moving stagnant energy. So exercise is always, always, always important. And it's important to note that exercise isn't the same for everybody. I was having a talk with a client last week that she's elder and prefers, she just doesn't like to, the whole like sweaty aerobic situation, not so much, but light, gentle walks work for her because her low back and her hips hurt. So us trying to get her to do a HIIT workout or even get on the treadmill, it's a little bit too much. And that can also cause stress to the body. So being realistic about our exercise and mindfulness, because, if we take a look at humans and how we've evolved, we were we were moving naturally. We were lifting heavy things because we were moving throughout our day. We were working, once in a while we'd have to sprint away from the tiger, play along with me here. But that like fight or flight and that need to sprint, it's a once in a while type of thing. So having like an exercise routine that's daily and it's really intense, what science is showing now that it can actually cause more stress and cause increase in insulin response. And many of us know that we're really working on keeping insulin sensitivity strong. And that's, powerful for our longevity. So exercise routines, and then as well, them being different for everybody based on where you are in life and what works for you. And then also with food, what happens when we take in whole food nutrition versus packaged foods, drive-through. Do you notice like when you go to the drive-through or eat some swaggy, pardon my language, eat some other than the best ever like processed foods, do you actually feel better? Or is the high, if you will, is that feeling better? Is it short-lived? There's a difference because not only are we eating the fast food, or let's just call it packaged food, anything that comes into from a box or a package usually has all sorts of, I call them, chemicals and, food products. And that's very different than how like nature has created foods, right? So when we eat from these packaged foods, we're also getting like rancid oils, and the stress that causes inside of the body for our body to make sense of what's going on. It takes a lot of our energy. It takes a lot for not only the digestive system to work out what we've put in for it to try and take in as fuel, but then if the body sees it as an invader, then our immune system responds. And then so we've got these inflammatory responses because the body sees what we've taken in as a harmful invader. And so the immune system lights up to sort it out. And then that takes lots more energy too. And what that does is then it drains from all of the other systems, and we wonder why we have brain fog in the middle of the morning or in the afternoon, and we need an extra cup of coffee or a sweet treat to get us through the day. We're simply moving through short-lived highs based on addictions. Sorry to use such a strong word, but are we really thriving off of these foods, or are they just keeping our symptoms at bay, or what we're looking at as symptoms at bay, and actually like suppressing what's really going on? So I love to work with you to acknowledge like what's working. And I spoke with a woman yesterday, and I love to invite each of us to look at like an honest inventory of what we eat and what actually helps us to feel good and strong versus what we eat and it causes us to have a sugar crash, have to go take a nap. And then what's the under processes of having to deal with that crash, and then the body still having to sort it out? Because even if we take a nap and get up, then we've still got to sort out that meal through the entire digestive tract and the small intestines and the large intestines, having to try and draw out viable minerals and vitamins to serve to our bloodstream. But when there's all sorts of rancid oils and funky ingredients, then like I said, it entices the immune response. And then it also can draw on our hydration, making us more dehydrated. And then once we get constipated in here, you're damn straight that impacts how we see the world. Pardon my languaging, but it's for us to not like be honest with ourselves. When we have troubles here, how it affects here And then what happens over a timeline of consistently having poor choices here and then feeling maybe out of control, out of, hopeless, if you will. It's a big deal to take a look at what we're consuming and being honest with if it's serving us or hurting us. And then when we acknowledge, what, this particular food or these types of food actually might be hurting us, then there's the process of eliminating them from our life and our lifestyle, and what kind of impact that has socially. If somebody wants to let go of alcohol or desserts or carbs that aren't whole in nutrition, there's lots of different ways that we can go, but just pick one and then take a look at how it's impacted socially, in our own household, or even how we feel about it. Is it really hard to let go of? Do we sense that actually, oh shoot, now I'm trying to let go of the alcohol for the month of January, or the sweet treats, or some of the things, the white bread I was letting myself eat over the holidays? I don't know. Pick your poison, if you will, but letting it go, sometimes it's not so easy. And that's where we've got to engage our heart, our emotional intelligence to coach ourselves, or get some coaching support so that we can build our compassion as well as our understanding of ourselves. Why are we turning in an addictive behavior, or even in a compulsory behavior that seems out of our control? Why are we turning to it seemingly out of our control? What's really going on? What are we really needing in our life, and how do we ask for what we need? If there's some loving support near us, or, journaling, there's lots of different things that we can do. But first off, what I wanted to bring up today was just, how does the gut health impact the brain health, and not necessarily just the nervous system, but how we think and view and feel about the world around us. So if you're just joining on, please, I'd love to hear or read, maybe a question that you have or something that you're working with, because, mental health as it relates to our consumption patterns, it's how we're empowered. There's lots of things that we cannot control. I do my best to control some of the things outside of my world by voting. I vote with my dollar, or, I'm choosy about what I purchase. But people say there's lots of things we can't control. Well, what we can do is we can control what we put into our mouth. And this is quite a topic, because folks are sometimes more inspired than others to really take a look at these patterns, how they self-soothe, what they're self-soothing, whether we're needing to feel love, or needing touch, perhaps we're needing support, relief. There's lots of real human emotions that we all have. So I love to work with you and create this virtual Sangha, this virtual community, so that we can talk about these kinds of things. So please, if you have any questions or something that you're working on, please type it in here. I can keep it private, and it just gives us something to chat about. Another way people are doing these meetups are through Zoom. And I tried that earlier last year, but then also getting everybody's schedules and such, it's kind of hard to do. So I'm attempting the YouTube lives, because it seems like an easy way to gather. So, doing my best, but would love some interaction, or if you want to send me a note later, that helps me to come up with topics to talk about. But today, I'm hopeful that you've gathered some insight, maybe some inspiration to consider and take inventory. We've time for self-reflection, but really studying what we eat and how we feel, not only immediately after we eat, in our belly, like if we feel energized or bloated and gassy, those are physical symptoms, and absolutely take notice to this. One thing that I love to suggest to my clients is, for 3 days, write down everything that you eat and write down how you feel about it afterwards, later. This is helpful. And it can seem awkward at first. And a 3-day inventory is an honest it's an honest look at what's really going on. So you can find some ways that hidden ingredients or hidden offenders, I like to call them, that may not be so best for your beautiful body can show up. So let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to keep the conversation going. And I feel so honored that you're choosing to be here with me. So thank you for tuning in to Live Yoga Channel. I love to meet on Tuesdays here for the Trust Your Gut Club, so we can talk about all things digestive wellness and living a vital life where we feel strong and energized. I turned 42 last year, and so I'm in my 4th year here in Honolulu, and we're at the beginning of the year, and I'm feeling more at home here. I'm feeling more grounded in my community here, and that feels empowering. And I also feel healthier than I did even 5 years ago when I was a holier than thou, raw vegan, spokesperson that believes she knew it all. So today I come with a much more humble approach and an inquiry. How do we stay curious with ourselves and listen to our body's feedback? Because trusting our gut, I truly believe that we have all the answers within. We are divinely connected. And when we slow down, when we get quiet and we tune in, our body is communicating our best choices, what serves us. It is, we have inspiration from within. So when we clear out some of the gunk, that communication, whether you hear it or feel it, or see it, each of us have our own psychic ways, either audibly, visually, or sensorily. How do I say that? Sensory. So tuning in to how you get visions or get your intuition, each of us have our own ways, but clarifying that communication so that we know how to move through life. We listen, we get the answers within. I believe in us individually. I believe in us collectively. And how I love to collaborate on this journey for health. So this is plenty for now. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Please, if you learned anything today, leave me a message, send a note, subscribe, share with your loved ones. Come back again next Tuesday for the Trust Your Gut Club, where we'll be talking about all things digestive health and wellness. If you'd love to set up a call with me, I offer a free discovery call where we can talk about what's going on specifically for you. And then I have 3 programs I love to share with people. It's a 3-day digestive reset for those that are in an SOS emergency support. We can do a 3-day cleanse. I also do a 40 days to intermittent fasting freedom, where I coach you on an intermittent fasting lifestyle that works for you. Not for everybody else out there, but works actually for you. And some people are trying intermittent fasting and seeing what others are doing, and it maybe works, maybe doesn't work for them. And I have loads of experience and happy to work with you to find something that's realistic, that works for your lifestyle and your schedule. So that, as well as the whole life healing. I have a 12-week program where we clear out your closets, your pantry, and rebuild your body's fueling system and communications so that you can live your best life forevermore, listening to how your body changes throughout different chapters, throughout different seasons of our life. And I feel honored to share in this work with you. I am Tara, the metabolic therapist, where I love to empower you to trust your gut. So thanks so much for joining. Have a beautiful day. Cyber Ohana. Ohana means family here in Hawaii. I'm so grateful to be here with you at the Live Yoga channel. Tune in again on Thursday morning. I'll be leading an hour-long classical hatha yoga practice. So tune in with me and Evan. We'll be live here again. Until then, have a beautiful day. A hui ho. Aloha.